Hello there. I'm Scotty. You're not welcome back to the Quentin Tarantino review series, where we're looking at Jackie Brown, his third directorial effort after Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction. Now, I knew nothing about this movie going in, like at all. I know some of what the Kill Bills are. I know, I can take a guess at what Inglorious Bastards and Django Unchained are about, and even Hateful Eight is like a Western style thing. This looked like it was paying tribute to like the 70s, although it is definitively set in 1995, even though it came out in 1987. But Michael Keaton, as Ray says when he's going over the time of day and everything, he says 1995. So, Ray Nicolette, that's his name. And again, I gotta give it to Tarantino for his star-studded cast here. And only his third picture, he's got Samuel Jackson back, which I think is the only one from a previous film that comes back as Samuel Jackson. But he's got Michael Keaton, Robert De Niro, Pam Grier, Bridget Fonda, Robert Forster. Yeah, just star-studded cast. Right, I gotta hand it to him. This is based on a novel. Does it say? No, not here. Based on a novel. And I never read the novel, but I hear it's pretty faithful. Interesting thing to note. Interesting things of note. That for it being titled Jackie Brown, she doesn't actually come into the movie for like 20 minutes, I think. Because the whole first scene is Samuel L. Jackson and Robert De Niro and Bridget Fonda, and basically Samuel L. Jackson, it's more dialogue stuff like Tarantino likes to do. Samuel L. Jackson talking to Robert De Niro about stuff and what it is. And then we get the introduction to Pam Grier. She's coming through the line, an homage to the Graduate style credits with the song 110th Street, I think it's called. Which I do believe that the same year, was it the same year? Dogma would do a similar opening with Bartleby and Loki walking through the thing. Not to music or anything, they're just having dialogue. But, yeah. And the story here is that Pam Grier plays Jackie Brown. She's a stewardess that sneaks money and drugs for a gun runner named Ordell Robbie, played by Samuel L. Jackson. And she gets caught by the police. And they already kind of show us how Ordell's system works, because he uses his bail bondsman Max to bail out a friend of his, played by Chris Tucker. I don't remember the character's name, but Chris Tucker. And then he shoots Chris Tucker dead because he fucked up or something. But here, we see what the situation is. She gets in trouble. He has Max bail her out. But like the wrinkle, here's that it's a love at first sight thing. Max falls head over heels in love with her, and so that kind of changes his perspective, so she makes a deal with the FBI or the AT, whatever it is, with Nicolette and the other agents to run an operation to get Ordell. Basically, is what it is. So I will say, this movie is long. It's almost 3 hours. I don't know if it needs to be that long. I was looking at the run times for the Kill Bill movies, and I looked at the first one, 110 minutes. That's not bad. That's not bad. So maybe, for movies that are 2 parts, don't need to be that long. Then I look at the second one. Yeah, that's a bit longer. Like, quite a bit longer. Okay. Tells me most of the stuff's going to happen in the second one. Quick, the first one's going to be a quick go through, I guess. But hold on, yeah, there's a lot of scenes that just sort of, not a lot, but there's a few scenes. Like, do we really need scenes? Like, I mentioned this in his other 2 movies. Like, do we really need a scene of Robert De Niro smoking a bong? Like, there's one at the beginning and there's one in the middle of the movie where he's talking to Melanie again, and she offers it to him. You filled? Yeah, okay. Does it, and he doesn't do that. I don't know, I'm just like, do we need, I know that Tarantino's known for his dialogue, but when you have just scenes of dialogue and nothing, no one is doing anything but sitting there talking, like, I can forgive the opening scene, like the opening scenes of Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction, even the scene of this one, I can forgive. But when you're in the middle of the movie and you just have a bunch of people talking, and like it's plot information, but like we're in the middle of this whole situation, like, I don't know. It just felt like we're stopping right in the middle of the movie to have a conversation about what's going to happen, other than doing something about it, right? Samuel L. Jackson's looking at this, by the way. He's got his hair, he's got like a ponytail through most of it. Then in the end, that's when it looks really weird. He has his hair in a ponytail through most of the movie and he looks fine. At the end, he has it down, and it looks weird. I guess they were going for like a samurai motif. Well, I guess it works. I don't know. It works. There's also a subplot where it's implied that Ray also wants to get with Jackie. They go out to dinner, and they say it's to discuss, but I don't know. They don't point out any, like, when they're in public places, you don't see what the place is called. I'm guessing they didn't have the rights to shoot there, or they could shoot there, but they didn't want to pay the people, to have the thing up, so they just, I don't know. I also felt like people are killed at the end just because they're not needed in the script anymore. And I get that's what you do with people, but it just, like, how it's done. Okay, so the first one, I don't blame Robert De Niro. He's had enough of Melanie by this point. He shoots her in the chest and in the stomach, and then takes whatever the money she's supposed to grab was and leaves. Then he picks up Ordell and tells him what happened, and then Ordell shoots him. And it's like, okay, I understand why you killed Melanie, but why did you shoot him? Why did you shoot Lewis? Because he's not needed in the script anymore? Like, he wouldn't be needed anymore. That's what it feels to me like. There's no real point to him shooting him. Like, he didn't betray him, didn't turn on him. He didn't double cross him or anything. He was loyal to him. He just shoots him because he's not needed in the script anymore. And it's kind of like what I said with uh, John Travolta, right? He's killed off because he wouldn't be needed anymore if they had gone in chronological order in Pulp Fiction. But then he's killed off in the middle of the movie, and then he's brought back again because it's not in order. This is all in order. Thank God. I don't know how they would have told this one out of order. You know? I think there is like one scene where they kind of go out of order, where they show Max picking up the money. They set up this whole sting operation to catch Ordell and all that stuff, where you have, he's supposed to send Chandra or whatever her name is, and she doesn't show up, and then the other person takes off with the 10 million from before, or 10,000 from before. So Melanie's the one. She's taking too long. Robert De Niro's had enough with her, like I said, and enough of her, excuse me. Finally get there, and then so what happens is she gives Melanie 40,000 and says it's a little cherry on top, just go. And then she takes the rest of the money and has Max take it, and then so then that's when Lewis has enough of Melanie, shoots her, and takes the money. I guess you could say maybe his being shot is justified for not checking the bag, but I think that's the whole point of weighing down the bag, is they wouldn't have to check it, they can just feel it, you know what I mean? Again, it still feels like we don't need him anymore. No. And then she sets Ordell up. And now I wasn't paying attention, but it's an interesting thing that even if you're paying attention, let me know. But so Max goes to Ordell's and tells him that Jackie is waiting for him at his bail bondsman business. Bail bondsman business. And so he calls to make sure. He goes there. She's sitting in the dark. And so then he walks in. She's just sitting, what you sitting in the dark, girl? And then she goes, Ray, he's got a gun. And then Ray shoots him right away, killing him. Now, they don't say anything, but did he have a gun? Or was she just trying to make sure she could get away with it? Because as soon as everything is set and clear and she's able to go places, she's going to go to Madrid. She's going to get the hell out of there. Which should, like, even so, even though she's free, they should be like, hey, still don't go anywhere for the next couple weeks. She's going to leave right away to go to Madrid, Spain. And if I was the FBI or whatever they are, I'd be like, she left the country as soon as we got her clear? Yeah, no, call Interpol and get her ass back here now? Something ain't right. But, you know, cops in movies, they're not smart like most of the regular cops should be. Or are. Sometimes, I don't know. Again, I don't know. I like Michael Keaton in this as Ray Nicolette. He does reprise the role as Ray Nicolette in Steven Soderbergh's Out of Sight the following year, in an uncredited cameo role, an uncredited role. But that's why I keep saying FBI, because I've seen a clip and he's got FBI shirt that says FBI on it. You know. Tom Tiny Lister has a cameo in this, you know. And it, like, what does Samuel Jackson calls him? A mandingo or something? He's not. He is there. He's not gonna be there. No, he's not there. But he is there. Getting played, he was getting a big score. Jackie hit the big score. I also want to point out the music. Okay, so music, much like most of Tarantino's motif, is older music, 70s type music. The 110th Street song that comes on. And the song that plays the most, though, is Didn't I Blow Your Mind This Time by the I forgot what the band was that played it here, but I know it from the cover, which I didn't know was a cover, by the New Kids on the Block. Didn't I blow your mind this time? Didn't I? Yeah, it like Max listens to it all the time after he's over at Jackie's place. She plays it, and then he's got it on his stereo playing constantly, and it's kind of an awkward moment where Samuel Jackson or Ordell, excuse me, is driving. And he's like, I didn't know you were a fan of whatever the. Yeah, it's good music. And by the way, once I get back into Heroes, we'll be talking about Robert Forster there, because he plays the villain of season 3, at least the first part of season 3. And we'll talk about him on there. But he's really good in here too. And I guess much like with Travolta, it sort of revitalized Pam Grier and Forster's career. Not as much like John Travolta where it exploded, but they did a little bit more. I guess I know Pam Grier from Smallville. She played Amanda Waller on there. I know Robert Forster from Heroes, of course. There's couple other things I remember him from, but he's really good. I guess he got a Best Supporting Actor nomination. He didn't win, but he lost, ironically, to Robin Williams. This was 1997, after all. So I guess Robert Forster could say, son of a bitch stole my Oscar. Yeah, the performances are pretty good. I like Samuel Jackson's really good in this. Robert De Niro gives it. Here's the little tidbit about Robert De Niro in this movie. So originally, Tarantino wrote the role of Max for Robert Forster, right? So he called Bob De Niro if he wanted to be in the movie, and De Niro wanted to play Max, but he had already secured Forster for it, and so he tried to go over it. He goes, no. He looked at it. He's like, no. I can't switch it. It's too well done. It's too much Forster. I can't switch it around. He's like, okay. What about Lewis? I like Lewis. And so he ended up being Lewis. And I will say that most of De Niro is sitting around smoking a bong and doing dialogue scenes, but like the most he actually gets to go out and do is when he has to kind of pull Bridget Fonda around to get her to do the drop. But a lot of good roles are sitting around and talking. I.e., as I mentioned, Robin Williams in Good Will Hunting, in which he won the Best Supporting Actor Oscar for most of his scenes being sitting around and talking. You know? So, especially in a Tarantino movie, scenes with sitting around and talking are not just scenes of sitting around and talking. There's having the dialogue that is thrown forward. But so I can clear my throat. But yeah, I like this. I'm gonna give it a pretty good. I liked it. Yeah. So far, none of them been that bad. I haven't given bad reviews. I've liked all 3 of them so far. Well, the first 2 I had seen before, but still. So I knew they were going to be good. This one was the first one I was like, I don't know. Let's see. And it's still good. So, yeah, I do recommend it. So, what are your thoughts on Jackie Brown? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'm Sky, and I'll see you in the next one.